How's it going, guys? Just want to share with you guys another build video, this time revisiting my T-Rex build. I have updated it, I've changed a couple things, and I want to share with you guys what I'm currently running now on my T-Rex on official servers. Before I jump right into it, though, I do want to just take this time to apologize to you guys. I haven't uploaded in a little bit. I want to get back on schedule with uploading a little bit more regular. But yeah, for now, it's just there's been a lot of stuff going on that I've had to deal with outside of doing any kind of YouTube stuff. So I do want to get back on the ball, and so I guess we're just going to start with this build video right here. So yeah, revisiting my T-Rex, and just want to say a huge thank you to you guys for sticking around and watching the videos. Appreciate it very, very much. And without further ado, let's jump right into this video, starting with the subspecies as we always do. So nothing's changed here since my last build video. I'm still running the plus 3% attack damage, the Batar subspecies. If you guys want a little insight into why I run this over the other subspecies, if you are running the other subspecies, we have the Sanguis and just the Rex variant. If you're running these two variants, it does take a total of 10 bites to kill another T-Rex. So if you're going on one-on-one with another T-Rex, it takes 10 bites to kill with this subspecies and this subspecies, which is, it's a fair amount. But the reason we run the Batar is because of the plus 3% attack damage. I know it's not a lot. A lot of people's question, like, oh, well, it's only 3% attack damage. I get that. But that plus 3% attack damage will make it so that this subspecies will take down another T-Rex with 9 bites instead of the 10 that it takes on these two. And I know a lot of you guys have asked me to run the plus 10% bone break. Just a little note on that. The plus 10% bone break is really good for smaller stuff, but when it comes to apex fighting and stuff like that, if you're fighting another T-Rex or an EO, you really lose out because the damage that it does off this bone break is really not that significant. Plus 10% damage on the bone break. The bone break doesn't do damage really. It does like a little bit. I don't really know the numbers on it, but it's very little to start with. So increasing that by 10% is not a lot. You're better off running the plus 3% attack damage on all of your attacks. This is going to help you with your stomp damage. It's going to help you with your regular bite damage, your tail attack if you're going to run it, things like that. So anyway, little information on the subspecies. Jumping into our abilities though, because we don't want to get hung up on that for too long. We're still running the same 2 head slots that we ran in our last build, but I will go over them. We have our regular bite. This is going to be your highest point of damage right here is from your regular bite. You want to run this to just be able to maximize your DPS and down your target as fast as possible. And here we're running our crushing bite as we were before, and it does, as you can read there, small damage and low bone break. This bone break does not bone break for very long, but it's very hard to read if you're another player. This one's way easier to predict if you're running bone snap. The reason I run crush and bite is it's a lot more sneakier for smaller targets, that are whipping in and trying to get a hit on you and things like that. It does take a little bit of timing and a little bit of getting used to run this bite, but it does have that advantage of being able to hit a sneaky bone break. And if you know the timing on it really well, you're able to take on like other bigger dinos that you do need to bone break. Like for example, a Barsbolia that's trying to not tail ride, that you're trying to tail ride and it's trying to club you with its tail. You can keep it pinned down with the bone break if you know the timing and when to reapply the bone break. I will say just for the build that if you are in a scenario where you're fighting a Barsbolia and you run up and you bone break it, you want to bone break, and then you want to go into your deep rumble. You want to go back in with a bone break, and you want to bite 3 times, no more, then hit another bone break, bite 3 times, bone break until the bars is dead. You do also maybe want to use this on an apex situation where if you're running against a Spino and it's trying to run right for the water, it doesn't want to fight you, it's just trying to get away, and you're hunting, this bone break is also useful for a Spino that's trying to get away, or maybe a duck that's trying to get away. Outside of that, if you're fighting a bigger dino, like an apex of sorts like that, like a T-Rex or even a Spino hit on, or something like that, you don't really want to bone break because you lose DPS and you also put your bite on a cooldown of like 2 to 3 seconds. And that's damage that you're going to be taking and not delivering. So be mindful when you use your bone break. Moving on to the senses, we have Lone Hunter. If you're playing solo like I do quite a bit, this here is just, obviously phenomenal. And obviously, as you can see, it is the only choice. So plus 10% increased attack damage while not in a group. This is huge. I do advise, though, for the balance of the game that if you're going to group with people, do group with them, even though it's going to take this 10% attack damage away from you. There's other dinos that you can run, like pair with, that will give you your damage back. So, Just be mindful that if you're going to play with other people, don't worry about this falling off. If your teammates are at least involved in the fight, that will make up for this 10% increased attack damage. Metabolism, we don't really care about this. This is up to your preference. For the hide, we've changed this since our last build video. We used to run resilient scales. You still can run this, for the record. It is pretty good, with the Kent having all that bleed damage that it has now, Styras, things like that like to attack you. It also kind of helps deal with aloes a little bit as well. But I started going with slick scales because they have changed it a little while back, and I found that this is just really good for those Achillobators that like to jump on you. Achillobators can pack quite a punch if you're not careful, and so the quicker that you can drain their stamina and get them off your side is the better. And also, if you can drain their stamina faster and they're not paying attention to it, it might leave them a sitting duck at your feet, so you can get a stomp on them or a bone break. But as you can read here, it says that when you are bucking them off or struggling while being carried, this will drain the enemy's stamina 30% faster. So this is really huge to deal with Killibators, Raptors, anything that pounces on you. And if you don't really like a ramp sitting on your side, stuff like that, you can get them off of there too. But it does set you up for a nice kill on the smaller targets. So that's why I run that now. It's just a nice setup for getting bone breaks and stomp kills for that, for defense. Moving on to our leg, we haven't changed anything here. We're still running Stomp. High damaging attack on the front foot. It does lock you in place when you are using it, so be mindful of that. And this is also a timing ability, but it does help you deal with smaller dinosaurs. I will say this, I see a lot of T-Rexes trying to use a Stomp on another T-Rex or trying to use a Stomp on an Eotrike. Please don't do that. If you're fighting something big as you like that, you want to just use your main damage, which is your bite. Please don't stomp. It locks you down in an animation. You take extra damage for it. It's not worth the damage that it deals. And then this here is something else that we did change. We used to run tail attack. We are now running balance, which gains a 5% increased turning. This helps you with your maneuverability and also helps you to spin around and try to nail a bone break on your backside with something smaller. So these few changes that we've landed, which is this one here, 6 scales and balance, those are the two immediate changes we made to our build. Those have just basically helped my playstyle a little bit more to like hunt and lock down smaller targets. If you're running in a 1v1, you really have to be careful running a 1v1. If you're going to run a 1v1, another Apex, things like that, obviously face tank is really good for that. It's kind of a cheese way to get a easy 1v1 on another Rex and things like that. Kind of is what it is. But for this build, this is an overall build that I like to run to be able to hunt everything on the map. And last but not least, let's jump into our roar, which is our deep rumble. And as you read here, it says that it decreases damage by 20% for 30 seconds. So it's decreasing your damage by 20% for 30 seconds. This is huge. So anytime you're going to tail ride something or that like a Bars Bully that can actually deal damage to you, if you're going to go into a fight with an Eotrike, if you're going to go into a fight with another T-Rex, something big with high damage, or if you have a lot of attackers jumping you, this is something you want to get up and be mindful that you only have 30 seconds of this buff on you. So you have to make the fight happen in that 30 seconds. Make everything count in that 30 seconds. This is kind of the bread and butter of a build for a T-Rex, and so that is something that you want to run and use every time you're fighting a very dangerous target like another Apex. So keep that in mind. And just to cover it while we're here, Tyrant's Roar is great if you're in a group with 2 T-Rexes. One of you should probably run Tyrant's Roar. The other one should run Deep Rumble if you want to maximize damage and defense, but it takes a lot of coordination for that. Whoever's running the Deep Rumble needs to tank all the damage, and whoever's running the Tyrant's Roar wants to wrap around, get the buff up, and attack them in the backside because they do not have the Deep Rumble. You can also run double Deep Rumble on a T-Rex team of 2. There's nothing wrong with that because, like I said, you are losing your sense, your lone hunter sense, but that's okay if you have 2 T-Rexes working together. So this is the build. The few changes to those to the last build that I had was this here, Slick Scales and Balance. We're now running those 2 abilities instead of the previous ones, which are not bad. These are still good. Choices, Tail Attack's still good. But you do a lot of damage off your bite, and I really try to lock down the bone break. So that increased turning, I found Balance has been pretty fun to use and really helps me get these crushing bites off the little bone breaks. So yeah, that's the build for that. Thank you guys so much for watching it. If you'll stick around in a little bit here, I'll share with you guys some video clips of me using some of these abilities in combat. I appreciate you guys watching the channel, sticking with me through all this, and as the channel grows, I hope we can grow together and just be able to make more content on the channel and have a little bit more informative topics and tips and things like that. So thank you guys so much. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.